This is WFYI News Now. It's August 4th, and I'm Abriana Herron. On today's show, an overhaul of the entire city market block hits a number of delays. The Environmental Protection Agency wants to undo its findings that climate change harms people. And First Lady Maureen Braun announces a significant investment in Dolly Parton's Imagination Library of Indiana.
This matters for the future of our children, and this matters to all of us as a community to help fund the Imagination Library.
Those stories coming up, but first. Less than 3 in 10 Marion County public school students passed Indiana's latest ILEARN exam. Across the country, just over 25% of 3rd through 8th graders passed the reading and writing section of the assessment. Math scores were similarly low, with around 27% of students passing. David Green is president of the Concerned Clergy of Indianapolis. He says student achievement is unlikely to get better without more funding for additional resources and investments in early education options.
For Marion County, it's a crisis. We're so far behind. We need a significant jump. And that significant jump will not happen in the current structure we have right now.
ILEARN is the statewide growth assessment that measures English language arts, science, social studies, and math skills for students in grades 3 through 8. Overall, 40% of Indiana students were proficient in ELA and 42% in math. An overhaul of the entire city market block has hit a number of delays. Jill Sheridan reports the city will seek a new developer to unearth the catacombs under the Western Plaza.
Plans announced last year include a new space where brick arches and limestone columns of the catacombs are open to the public. Developers Gershman Partners and CityMark were originally announced as partners, but now the city will open a new request for proposals. Director of the Department of Metropolitan Development, Megan Vukasic, says the goal is to move forward with the original vision for the plaza.
We really need to make investments in the surrounding properties, and so we're focusing our efforts on Whistler Plaza in order to make the city market block as a whole, more vibrant for the long term.
The move will also delay the opening of the historic city market, which was slated for next year. Plans for the Eastern Plaza will also be delayed. I'm Jill Sheridan.
The Environmental Protection Agency wants to undo its finding that climate change harms people and eliminate greenhouse gas standards for cars and trucks. Rebecca Thiel reports EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin officially announced the proposal last week at a commercial truck dealership in Indianapolis.
The 2009 endangerment finding serves as the scientific and legal basis for many of EPA's rules that limit greenhouse gas emissions from things like cars and coal plants. Zeldin says reversing the finding would be the largest deregulatory action in the country's history. He says greenhouse gas emissions from cars and trucks have gone down in recent decades, and Americans shouldn't be forced to buy expensive electric vehicles.
There are other nations that continue to increase emissions, and all of us strangulating our own economy, regulating the heck out of American families and American industries.
Former EPA officials and climate advocates say reversing the finding will lead to more premature deaths as well as increased risks from heat waves and flooding. I'm Rebecca Thiel.
The Indiana Motor Trucking Association says electric trucks are more expensive, can't transport as much cargo, and don't have an established charging network. The public will have 45 days to comment on the proposal. And for our final story today, First Lady Maureen Braun last week announced a significant investment in Dolly Parton's Imagination Library of Indiana. As Lauren Chapman reports, Braun was tasked with finding philanthropic support for the program after the governor and legislature eliminated its state funding.
The Centerpoint Energy Foundation donated $500,000 to the statewide program. The Imagination Library is a nonprofit early childhood reading program that mails books to children from birth to 5 years old. Braun says early childhood literacy has a wealth of benefits for Hoosier children, including brain development and vocabulary.
This matters for the future of our children, and this matters to all of us as a community to help fund the Imagination Library.
Former Governor Eric Holcomb funded half of the program's statewide expansion with $6 million in state funding in 2023. Governor Mike Braun announced in February his administration would eliminate that support. I'm Lauren Chapman.
That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Drew Daudelin and Zach Bundy, with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Our news director is Sarah Neal-Estes. Kendall Antron produced our music, and I'm your host, Abriana Herron. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.